Hello, today we are examining a case that is provided upon the Welsher Intelligence Scale for Children, the 4th edition. We are looking at a 10-year-old client that comes from a highly educated family who has recently experienced a negative stressor in their lives. The family has gone through a loss of employment that has taken a toll on everybody. Upon talking to the mother, we have documented the client has come from normal developmental measures throughout her years of growth. There is no major concerns for medical or substance or medication abuse. The concern that has caught our attention is the mother has notated the child has had previous academic difficulties with scoring low in standardized testing in reading, math, and language. Upon the completion of the assessment, the client scored a 104 in verbal comprehension. The client scored a 61% above her peers, falling into the average range for her performance. She does seem to excel really well in verbal reasoning. Perceptual reasoning, she scored a 102. So this has to do with the organization and processing, in which the client scored a 55% above her peers, falling into the average range for her performance. Despite the client's score, she is seen as less equally developed than her other peers throughout interactions. The client's working memory scored an 86. She has some difficulty with mental control with her short-term memory while performing another task. She scored only 18% above her peers, falling into the below average range. The area in which the client struggles is more time-consuming data interpretation, which can be such as reciting long numbers. Processing speed, she scored a 91. The client scored a 27% above her peers, falling into the average range. Despite falling into the average range in this area, is of concern based upon the client's high scoring ability in verbal reasoning. The client struggles to comprehend new information. And overall, the full scale IQ, the client scored a 97. A general breakdown of the assessment, the client has general cognitive ability. It's being measured as average. Both verbal and nonverbal reasoning are both being measured as average. Her overall thinking exceeds 42% of her peers her age. Her strengths is definitely her nonverbal reasoning, and her weakness is being able to organize mental data through block design subtests. Excuse me. Recommendations for this client. This client is encouraged to continue reviewing information more often in efforts to build and retain new information. The information given must be remembered and usually should be provided by a family or teachers in best efforts to promote positive reinforcement. Rather than the client soaking in all the information at once, utilizing a chunking method may be helpful. Chunking is used to break down large groupings into fewer bits to be able to be retained. And finally, the client's family should continue to provide positive support through this process, not placing primary focus on grades or outcomes. So based upon this information given, this is what I have determined for my 10-year-old client. I am open to any recommendations or assistance in creating a positive treatment plan to enhance her information processing and expand on her working memory. Thanks so much for your time.